Welcome back to another video. I hope you all had a great holiday. We're sticking with the topic of Jiu Jitsu. It's a big passion of mine, and I've been able to pick up a lot of data in the 6.5 years it's taken me to get to 3-stripe purple belt. So with that being said, today we're talking about how to avoid injury as a brand new white belt. Now, as a disclaimer, when you do any kind of a combat sport or martial art, the risk of injury is always going to be there, but it's not about completely eliminating the risk of injury because that's not possible. It's about minimizing the risk as much as you can. And that's exactly what we're going to do here with these tips. Let's jump in. Now, this first tip, avoid sparring as a brand new white belt, will come with the territory depending on what gym you choose to train at. Many gyms, mine included, won't allow you to spar right away as a brand new white belt, especially if you don't have experience in another grappling art like wrestling, judo, etc. If the gym that you do choose allows you to spar as a brand new white belt, I'd be very careful with this. You have to remember that you're a beginner and you have nothing to prove. Your health is your number one priority, and if you injure yourself and can't continue to train, that's just going to set you back for that duration of that injury. God forbid it's a knee injury or a shoulder injury, something that takes a lot longer to heal, that's just going to put you out of the game that much longer. Some of the wildest and craziest injuries that we see in jiu-jitsu come from two untrained people going 100% on each other, i.e. white belts. So be very careful with that. Now, a good replacement for hard sparring would be positional sparring. What I love about positional sparring is that you or your coach get to make the rules. So if I start on my back and you're my partner and you start in side body, some of the rules we can set, or the parameters we can set, is that I fight to get out, you fight to hold me there. If I get out, then we reset. If you hold me there for a certain amount of time, then we can reset or flip positions. Submissions are never even a part of that equation, so you don't have to worry about injuries from submissions. Another replacement would be to simply just drill. You can drill a move back and forth. You can turn it into a flow drill where maybe I do this 3 times and then you do the move 3 times. And we go back and forth, and we can speed it up a little bit, so maybe we get a little bit of that cardio benefit as well. But any way you slice it, your health has to be your number one priority, especially as a white belt. The time spent as a white belt is the foundation of your formative years, and you don't want to spend any time down and out because of a silly injury that was easily avoidable. My next tip to help you avoid injury as a brand new white belt would be to make sure you're implementing some form of weight training. I think this goes without saying, but a strong body is harder to injure. With stronger muscles comes stronger tendons and stronger ligaments. With more resistance training, your body becomes stronger as a whole, which helps protect those joints that are susceptible to injuries in jiu-jitsu. I've talked about how I balance bodybuilding and weightlifting in a previous video. I'll put the link up here so you can check it out. And if you don't have a weight training system in place for yourself that works, you may want to look into this because there are a lot of gold nuggets in there for you. My third tip to help you avoid injury as a brand new white belt will be to not fight out of joint locks just yet. So once you're to the point where you can spar, joint locks aren't something to mess around with until you fully understand how they're applied and defended. And when I say fully understand, I'm not saying that your coach just showed you the move and you think you have it down pat. You have to be very aware of how these moves are applied and how they're defended because you want to avoid injuries at all costs. And there's a reason why I'm saying don't fight out of joint locks specifically compared to chokes. I remember a time when I was a 2-stripe white belt. This was right around the time I was really getting into sparring. I was sparring with a black belt, and he applied a loop choke to me, and I spun the wrong way thinking I was going to unravel the choke, but I made it tighter. And in fact, this was the hardest I was ever choked in my life. My neck was sore for a week, and I will honestly never forget that. Now, thank goodness that wasn't a joint lock. Had I spun the wrong way or tried to unravel the joint lock and spun really hard the wrong way, that could cause a break. So that's exactly why I'm referring to joint locks here. As a white belt who's new to sparring, you're probably not going to understand the correct direction when trying to force an escape. And many times as white belts, we are very aggressive in our movements, more so than we need to be. And if you forcibly try to fight your way out of a joint lock and you go the wrong way, that can cause a really serious injury that can put you down for a long time. So as a white belt new to sparring, if you get stuck in a joint lock, just tap. There's no shame in that. You have nothing to prove. Everyone expects you to tap. You're a white belt, you're a beginner. Trust me when I say it's okay to set your ego aside and tap the joint locks. Don't fight through those. My fourth tip to help you avoid injury as a brand new white belt is somewhat of a continuance of the last tip, but once you're able to spar as a white belt, don't be afraid to spar with purples, browns, and blacks. And the reason I'm saying this is because these upper belts are going to have more control in their movements. They're going to be more aware of your mistakes, and you are at a much lower risk of getting hurt. I remember as a brand new white belt myself, the purples, browns, and blacks were the scariest, especially the black belts were the scariest belts in the gym. And I always remember feeling a sense of intimidation and a high amount of respect. But as I began to roll with these people, I realized I was in much safer circumstances with them than I was with other white belts. Now, granted, you might take a harder butt whooping, but it's a safer butt whooping, and that's what we want. You're gonna learn from those butt whoopings, so don't shy away if the black belt wants to roll with you. Don't shy away if the brown or the purple belt wants to roll with you. You're gonna be safe in that circumstance. You might get butt whooped, but it's okay. It'll help you learn. My fifth and final tip to help you avoid injury as a brand new white belt is to work on your flexibility. And full transparency, this is one I need to work on myself as well. If I could give you any kind of advice on this, you want to stretch your muscles when they're warmed up. So I'm not a big fan of stretching cold. I know some people swear by it, but personally, I like to stretch after training. And for those of us who are always on the go, stretching kind of goes to the wayside because we've done our training, we've done our weightlifting. Do we really need to do the stretching? Like, I'm busy, I need to keep this moving. Yes, you need to do the stretching. You only need to take 15 minutes or so to stretch out your legs, your hips, your hamstrings, your quads, get some upper body stretches in there. This pays dividends. There are plenty of submissions in Jiu Jitsu that aren't necessarily joint locks, but they're ligament stretchers or tendon stretchers like the electric chair. You're only going to be better off if you're flexible and your body can handle these. And to sweeten the pot just a little bit, because I know flexibility is somewhat low for some of us on our priority list, myself included, when you stretch and work on your flexibility, you get greater range of motion. And with greater range of motion, you get greater range of power from that specific muscle. This is really going to help you get the most out of each of your muscle groups, because with more flexibility will come more power. Now, I'm not saying if your chest is flexible, your bench is going to go up, but you're going to have more power through a greater range of motion in your chest, which is going to make you feel stronger in a fight. A lot of the positions in Jiu Jitsu flatten us out or stretch us out to a point where we don't have a lot of power in our muscles. Our leverage is gone. But if we're able to have more power in a greater range of motion, we're going to be better off. And you're going to be less susceptible to injury, which is priority number one. And that's the video, guys. I hope you got something out of it. The last few videos have been about jiu-jitsu, and I've really enjoyed this series because it is a big passion of mine. So expect to see more jiu-jitsu content. I'm also planning on doing more food content and workout content. So stick around, there's more to come. Comment down below, let me know what you want to see, because I'm here to be a resource. And in the meantime, eat plants, train hard, and feel good. I'll see you in the next one.